I want to discuss with you an important concept today, which is this whole idea of like strengthening or building your strengths and ignoring your weaknesses. And I think this is something that is really important in business. So as an athlete, for instance, you can't really ignore your weaknesses because let's just use soccer as an example. So when I played soccer, I was a goalkeeper and I had a really easy time. This is when I was younger, a really easy time diving to my left, right? So it was like in my mind, I could easily see it. It was very easy to execute, but I had a block diving to my right. And as a goalkeeper, you can't just delegate diving to your right. That's a major issue if you're trying to save the ball. And so what I had to do is I had to develop that weakness. Now in business, the difference is I can delegate that piece because I don't need to do that, right? Nor do you. So recently we had our whole team do a Clifton Strength Finder. If you haven't done it, just search Gallup Clifton Strengths Finder. And if you have done it, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But if you've done DISC or Colby or anything like that, this will be relevant to that because the whole idea in business is that you want to be focused the majority of your time in your zone of genius, which is doing the things that you are the best at doing. Now, for me, that just so happens shooting videos like this and sharing content is what my zone of genius is. The more of this I do, the happier I am because I feel really good when I contribute. Okay, so that's one level of like what I know to be true about what I like doing. But here's one thing a lot of us are not aware of, which is what are the underlying strengths beneath all that? And so the Clifton Strength Finder will help you identify that. So I want to share with you what mine is, or I'll share one of them with you. So my number one strength is focus. And I didn't think that was going to be my number one strength. And so as I started thinking about this and reading up on what that meant, basically what it means is that I do really, really well when I'm like laser beam focused on a very specific thing with no distractions. And I know that about myself because I feel really good when I get stuff done in a way that I'm kind of in the flow. And so we had our whole team do this, and we're using this into a lot of our kind of team communication and kind of workflow and stuff. And then I was speaking with Bella, who's our director of coaching, yesterday, and we were talking about like her strengths, and her top strength is achiever. And achiever basically really they get a lot of pleasure out of like getting stuff done. So like a to-do list, making sure the whole to-do list is done and not having any incompletions. And so we started talking about this, and the one thing I recognized is that the biggest strength that you have is also your biggest weakness if it's not strengthened. And this is the whole idea behind this episode here, is that you have to grow your strengths because if you don't, you'll drive yourself crazy. So let me show you what this means in my life with respect to focus. So if I know my number one strength is focus, and I understand what that means, then I have to do whatever I possibly can to create the environment for me to be focused. Because if I'm not, the complete opposite. It's like Superman, right? Or any superhero. Think of every single superhero, DC, Marvel, they all have a superpower and they all have a kryptonite, okay? So your superpower, the exact opposite of it is your kryptonite. So my superpower is focus. My kryptonite is if I'm not focused, I am massively scattered and completely disorganized. And that is why I create so many structures and systems and ways for my brain to stay on path. Some people might call it ADHD, whatever, I don't care. But the power is that if I understand that, I'm not strengthening my weaknesses, I'm strengthening my strength. And I understand the flip side of my strength becomes a major weakness. So how do we prevent that from happening in the first place? Is I focus on building that strength. Does this make sense? So the example, like with Bella, for instance, so her strength is achiever. The opposite of achiever is like, however you want to call it, but basically it's the antithesis of getting stuff done. So her not doing anything, right? So if you have a to-do list and like your big thing is like, I want to just get stuff done. If you don't get that stuff done, it will drive you crazy. So how do you create the environment? How do you set up your business? How do you set up your day? How do you set up your life to allow yourself to be successful in those strengths. And I think this is something that is massively misunderstood. And honestly, for me in the last day or two, I had a huge epiphany around this because I've known for years what my strengths were. And I wanted to redo my strengths finder just to get clarity on some of that. And I mean, I know I'll show you an example of Colby in a second. But the more you learn about yourself and the more you learn about how other people operate, the better you're able to work with them and the better you're able to lead yourself and your team. And because all business growth stems from personal growth, you will do better in business, the better off you know yourself. Let's look at Colby. So Colby, Kolbe, is another type of personality aptitude type of test. It's there's 4 levels. So there's, if I remember, there is fact finder, which is detail orientation. There is follow through, which is kind of systems. There's quick start, which is like just starting things. And then implementer, which I still don't understand. I think it's like hands-on work, like someone who likes building Lego, I think. So I'm a 3-5-8-2. So I'm 3 on detail, which means if I need to spend my time in high detail work, I can do it for a limited amount of time, but it's going to drain my soul. So that's why I'm typically notorious at not reviewing contracts. I'll just send it to my lawyer. If I have to review a 5,000 page, actually, let me give you a great example of how this showed up for me. So years ago, I was in contact with sumo.com, which is one of the largest sites for growth and marketing and stuff like that. And I said, listen, I got a great guide I can write for you guys on email segmentation because we're doing some amazing stuff. And they said, cool, awesome. So I wrote this like I think it was like 7,000 words, because they want like the be all and end all on that topic. And I wrote this amazing guide. I could have sold it as a book and sent it through. They're like, cool. And then they sent it back with like 60 revisions. And I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And I started looking through them. And I was like, okay, it's gonna be worth it. They have an email list of 500,000 people. It's worth it, whatever, just do it. So I did the first revisions, sent it back. They sent it back with like another 40 edits and revisions. And at this point I was like, what the F? Because I'm not a high detail oriented person. So this is like draining my soul. I had to spend more time editing this one blog post, this one article than I did any of my published books. And I thought to myself, this is insane. There's no way I'm doing this. And so here's how this shows up, is I stopped the editing process with them. I said, you know what? It's not worth my energy to continue down this road, even though the potential payoff is huge exposure. Like that's how my brain was operating. This is how we operate. And so if you understand that, like in my case, I'm very low detail orientation. I need to be high level. I'm okay on systems. I like building them out. I don't like following them necessarily, but I like building them. So I'm a 5 out of 10. And then quick start is like, I like ideation. I like creating things. I like starting things. So I need to start things all the time. Most entrepreneurs are high quick start. So if you know what your tendencies are, you have to build a bubble around you to strengthen those, right? If I'm low detail orientation, no one in their right mind should tell me I should become more detail oriented. That's stupid advice, right? So if you're working with clients or if you know team members that you're working with, and some people are very low detail orientation, they do not belong in a role that is detail oriented. But if you need an editor, then you better make sure they have very high attention to detail. If you have somebody running your Facebook ads or analytics, they need to be data rocket scientists. They have to love detail. They have to love processes and systems. And you have to understand this stuff, guys. This is part of, it's not just about getting people to do stuff. Like you have to get the right people to do the right things based on their strengths. And if you get people working in their weaknesses, they're going to hate their job. They're not going to produce the results. And you're going to be like, oh, I don't understand people. I can't find any good people. There's a lot of good people out there, okay? But you just have to put them in the right places. So there we go, guys. That is my coach's corner for you today. Build your strengths, ignore the weaknesses. You can find other people to build those weaknesses. They become their strengths. And that's how you build an amazing team. That's how you build a great business, right? I'd love to know from you guys, what is your superpower? What is your strength? Let me know in the comments below. Even if you haven't done any kind of personality assessments or whatever, what do you think your number one strength is? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know. Thanks so much, guys. Hope you have an awesome day. Hey, what's going on? Yuri back with you. Listen, I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you have, listen, if you want to get more clients, if you want to grow your online coaching business, your virtual health practice, and you want to do so in a way where you bring in a flood of clients, not just by hope and pray and posting on social media all day long, or spending so much time creating content no one ever sees. If you're sick and tired of all that stuff, we have a better way. It's called the Perfect Client Pipeline. And I'd love to tell you all about it and show you exactly how it works in our business and in the thousands of clients who are all health practitioners and coaches, and how it's worked in their businesses. Collectively, it's generating more than $100 million in revenue for our clients. And I have no doubts it could help you as well. If you'd like access to this free training, then click the link below in the description. Do that right now. I promise you it'll be the best use of your time, way better than the latest show on Netflix or whatever it is you're watching. Because if you're here and you're a health practitioner or coach and you're serious about taking the reins of your business, becoming better at marketing, understanding how to sell in a way that is serving, not salesy, then these are skills you can develop no matter where you are, because you've already done the hard work. You're already great at what you do. I want to help you fill the gap so you can get your message in front of more people. And that's what the Perfect Client Pipeline is going to help you do. So click the link in the description, enjoy the training today. And listen, if you like the training and you like our help, then you can always book in a call with one of our coaches to see how we might be able to help you if you want even faster results. Sound good? So again, click the link below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.